Actually, you know what, chat? I really am regretting not making that video, but
Incoming.
I think Overwatch 6 months from now is gonna have the come up, because now here we are. We're about 2 or 3 months away from my prediction, and I think it's right on track. I don't know if you've seen a lot of the discourse around season 2 of Rivals. In chat, I don't mean to alarm anyone, but this is probably the most the most amount of negative stuff I've seen about Rivals yet, and it's not even close. People hate this season. People hate this season. Like, I don't know if you guys have gone through like TikToks or Twitter or Reddit stuff or anything like that. You predicted everything with Overwatch. Let's be real. I know. I know. I know that. It wasn't always what people wanted to hear, though, so people would always get really upset. What do they hate? Well, okay. The number one thing, I would say the casual player, or the, not casual, like the average casual creator, right? So, like, I mean, like TikTok, Reddit poster, Twitter poster, you know what I mean? Like, the more, like, outside of your bigger streamer, like, larger platform people, is they hate the lack of strategists. It's not Smurfs. It's actually the lack of supports.
Target neutralized.
The biggest discourse that I have seen is around the lack of supports. And there's many things that people are blaming. People are blaming... I saw some people blaming Necros, saying that support takes no skill is what killed it. Stop. That wouldn't actually affect anything. Hello, this is Future Flats. The little section right here I was talking about of like, oh, you know, why people were upset about Rival stuff. And I think I mentioned somewhere around there was like, oh, people are mad at Necros. No, it's not actually that, it's this. I hadn't seen the support clip yet. That didn't exist a few days ago when this got recorded. So don't shoot me, I guess. Things are a little different. Yeah, that was kind of dumb. Although I want to point out there's a lot of people that say that kind of stuff and they don't get the same shit. But that's what kind of happens when you're at the top. What it actually is, and more or less, is this. There's two things. One, support, low-key, sort of boring compared to other roles. It feels like you have less impact in a lot of ways, unless you're really with your ult. If you're really good with your ult, you can be the best player in the lobby. But like, that's it. You sit there waiting to hit Q. But the real thing, number two, this is the real reason why, is the new rank system. So if you're not aware, the rank system was changed to reflect individual performance. And I've seen already people arguing the other side. It's like, oh my god, you guys all complained last season about losing games and you are getting MVPs, and now you have a system where you get points for doing better and you guys still complain, you guys are insufferable. Yeah, because those people were wrong and they don't understand the nuances of a ranked system in a hero shooter, right? Like, I remember when I read before I even read the patch notes, when I read that they were going to do performance-based thing, you can go back and watch my old video, and I went, that's a little worrying. I think word for word said I'm a little worried because Overwatch did this back in season 4 or 5 of Overwatch 1 because people complained about losing a bunch of points because of their teammates, and they changed the system. And so what people figured out is you could abuse Mercy. By playing Mercy, you would just heal bot the entire game and you would get in super inflated stats and you wouldn't lose many points. Rivals has the same thing happening, but in the opposite direction, where
here they come.
If you play something like Rocket Raccoon and you just do a bunch of healing but you don't do any damage, you don't have any final blows, you lose like 25 or 28 points. If you win like 13. I'd have to go check my VOD from the other day, but I was looking at Boger and Necros' stuff from a game they played. Actually, Boger made a TikTok of it. I wonder if I can find the short really quick. So I'm actually in this TikTok, so I can speak on it even more. So for those who didn't see this TikTok from Boger, okay? I'm in here, I believe, actually, if this is the correct one. Me and Boger played a game in which we had like some clip farmer on the other team, or clip farmers, and they were just hardcore chasing me. So I had to play super passive to just, because like one of them sat over the pit, like trying to pull me off on Spider-Man for 2 minutes, did nothing. The other ones just was like their torch, like just trying to poke me the entire time. So me, not being an idiot, realizes, I have 2 people that are hardcore targeting me and they're wasting time looking for me. I'll just make sure 1, they don't kill me, and 2, I'll still play tank correctly. So we win the game. Me and Boger both got 13 points for this win, because we didn't have super high stats. I want to let it roll for a sec, just to give you some context. So here's me right here. I'm 14-7, right? But like, if you're gonna see the rest of the stats, the only time we ever died, me and Boger both, is when we lost a team fight as an entire team. Otherwise, we never died, ever, right? And that's what the death stats show, especially for tanks. But you can see for our other players, our DPS, they go crazy because, one, we're not dying very often. You can see on the other side. And they're also 2 clip farmers that are hardcore chasing us around. So we win the game by playing tank correctly, the right way.
Fucking Hawkeye, bro. SK
What?
got 23. What the fuck is the point? Why did our supports get 24? Minus 12. What is this? What is this system? This is so f***ed up. Hello? Some people on my team get double the points, and then
Here they
some
come.
people on their team lose 12 for a loss. I gain less for a win than this guy loses for a loss, bro. What is this random number generator? Who decided that performance-based?
So just to point out, by the way, Boger had more damage than the Hawkeye in our team, who got like 25 points or 26 points, and still only got 13. We both got 13, by the way. So it doesn't care, because it doesn't matter about our damage numbers. It's our final hits are so much lower than our DPS.
Point system gain is a good idea. This is so stupid. Why are both the tanks vital for the win of this game getting 13 points, bro? Neither Pressure V nor SK would get 33 kills if we fed our brains out. And why did their Human Vape lose 12 points? Who made this? Who thought that this is a good idea, bro?
I don't see the problem. The reason why you don't see the problem is because you look at this game or look at a hero shooter
Incoming.
and you think stats tell the whole story. Stats tell part of the story, right? But like, there's an important stat for every role, right? The most important stat for the tank role is deaths. It's the most important stat. If you're a tank with very few deaths, you are playing unreal. You're playing out of your goddamn mind. If you're a support player with a low amount of deaths, you are playing out of your mind. If you're a DPS player, for your DPS player, 3 things matter for you. Death stat, but it also can change with final hits. It can also change with the limps, right? So there's the players that trade really, really hard, and if they get a lot of final blows, but they're also dying a lot, you could kind of get away with it, right? But that's not what the system is identifying. The system is based off of damage, and it's also based off of healing, which is why if you're playing support specifically, in many cases, even if you have really high healing numbers and you're staying alive really good, the game does not reward you, and so you get less points. So you play a role that's considered more boring, so you fill. People already quote-unquote consider you lower skill on that role, right? Get into the argument about that. I'm not saying that, you know what I mean. And then you fight really hard for a win, and you contribute, and you get no points. When you could pick Iron Fist, you could pick Torch, you could pick Moon Knight, you could pick any like Hellas, Psylocke, any of these really high damage, high finishing blow type characters, Spider-Man for his final blows, and you get tons of points for winning and lose not many points for losing. When I was looking the other day, I don't have it right now, I looked at a game where Boger and Necros were playing together. Necros was SVP with 2 final blows. 2 final blows. Their whole team got shit on. He lost like 12 points. Boger lost like 28. Necros was Celestial 3. Boger was GM2, 2 ranks lower. And for someone that's 2 ranks higher, losing less than half the amount of points because they got 2 final blows as opposed to 1 or 0 is stupid. So look at this game right here, chat. Remember this game. 6 minutes, 57 seconds, okay? Lost 24 points. And now I want you to see this. Was it the 5 and 6 game? Oh no, it's this one. Oh, it is. Okay, I'm not crazy. I got them mixed up. The one above. Okay, so it was 13. I'm not crazy. All right, I know I wasn't crazy. I'm just blind. There's a difference. So this is the same game. Boger lost, what was it again, chat? How many points did Boger lose on his? Refresh my memory. 20 something, 20 points, minus 25. 25 points lost versus 13 points lost. And I want you to take it a step further. Necros is one of the highest ranked people in the lobby at Celestial 3. Boger in this case was GM1. So Boger is ranked lower in the lobby and lost double the points. Do you know why? Because the only thing that it matters and cares about right now is final hits. And so it incentivizes people to play DPS. It incentivizes people to not swap. It incentivizes people to play selfishly. When the system behaves that way, people don't want to play into it. And then you also take into account that people do not believe the game is balanced, which, hey, I remember just about 3 or 4 months ago, everyone was saying if the game, everyone's broken, then no one's broken. Hey, let's not forget about that narrative. But to take it one step further, I don't think it's actually a balance problem. I think that there's just certain characters that people find more annoying to play against than others, right? So some of those are like Spider-Man, Iron Fist now. Wolverine was one of those before, but even though he's a little bit worse now. Groot is kind of one of those because he's really annoying with his walls. And also people just don't find playing against Rocket or playing with Rocket that fun in a lot of ways. So they find like the less fun characters that are stronger more annoying. Cap? Yeah, I mean, people don't like playing against Cap. If you're playing support, you don't like a Cap that's sitting in your background just eating on your head for 6 minutes and nobody's turning and helping you. So the meta is wildly different. The meta is wildly different, whether you like it or not. You're disincentivized to play support, so there's a lack of support players. Support players feel victimized by the community because they think that, like, you know, people said that they're low skill and other people not playing it. And the rank system itself tells you, hey, you're not as valuable as the DPS player if you play this role. So people are even less likely to play it. There's also people that were a little bit upset about the recolor thing. Everyone was under the assumption that it was going to be free for some reason. When I talked about it, I remember being like, yeah, they're just going to do recolors. And people were like, no, it's not just recolors they're selling. Like, you get it. And I'm like, I was like, what? And there was like a tweet that they made about it. And people were like, see, read the tweet. And I'm like, I can see how you can interpret that as like a free thing, but there's no way that ends up being free. Sure as shit, it wasn't free. And actually, if anything, the recolor thing is not great because you have to actually buy the original skin before you get access to buying the recolor. I don't know why anyone thought that was going to be free. You should have seen that one coming. And basically, there's also another problem where people feel like their games are really hard and really shit. People are blaming it on Smurf accounts, right? People say it's Smurf and everyone's Smurfing. And so there's that narrative like the only way to climb is by stacking. Not technically wrong. Just throwing it out there. Not technically wrong, but I want to put a little asterisk on that. It's actually more than that. The reason why you're having such a hard time in your games is because two things. If this applies to you, then it's you. And the second one is that there are a lot of people who get to a peak and stop playing, right? Like, let's say in season 0, you got to plat, right? And then in season 1, you got to GM. Most players get to GM and go, I'm done, I'm good, I made it. I made it to the promised land. I put all this work in, I succeeded. Game over. Literally what I did, and you're part of the problem. No offense. I don't mean that in a bad way. Just listen to me. The reason why you're part of the problem is because you're not actually GM. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to take away the accomplishment from you. Just let me finish before you get mad. There's a difference between being peak and being a consistent of a certain rank. You can say your GM peak, that is like your absolute best at the end of the season. You tried your ass off, but you're actually a diamond player, right? Which is fine. But what gets worse is that if you don't play for 2 or 3 weeks, you're gonna get rusty. Happens to me. Whoa, we got jobs. That's why I said let me finish. You don't play for 2 or 3 weeks, right? And then when you don't play for 2 or 3 weeks, you get rusty. It happens to me. Dude, I took like 2 months off Overwatch for playing Rivals and other things. And it took me like a solid 2 or 3 days to unrust, right? And that's with me being my job and doing this every day, right? Like, I have years of competitive experience. I have years of mechanical skill. I have years of all of these things. It takes a little time to get back into it. I had to relearn the meta. I go, okay, who's strong? Who's not strong? Okay, these people are strong. These are not strong. Okay, what's the pacing like? Okay. Oh, this is playing a little bit differently now. Okay, I got it. Bum, 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 bum. And especially a game that's as new as Rivals, people are learning things all the time. The way you use Magneto ult has changed in one season. So last season, everyone used Magneto ult to kill Cloak and Daggers. Now you use Magneto ult as a defensive ult. You use it to block like Star-Lord ult, right? Like if they have a Star-Lord, you hold your Magneto ult until they Star-Lord ult, and then you use that basically as like a pseudo defense matrix to keep your team alive, and so you don't have to use a support ult. The game changes very quickly. And so if you don't play for 2 or 3 weeks, you start to suck. And that's okay. But now everyone does it. So if everyone has stopped playing because they hit their peak at season 1.5, because remember there was no rank reset, if you were in season 1, you didn't play some past 1.5 that first week with the thing. You haven't played in a month, and now you hop in, and you're ranked with all the people like just got to GM and are warmed up, right? You're probably not playing as good.
Here they come.
Or the opposite. You're getting into games with people that are like that, who haven't played in weeks, and they're like, I'm GM. Why, these players around me suck. Yes, that's actually kind of true, because they were also GM just GM 3 weeks ago. They're not GM anymore. Listen, like, you can't get mad if you don't play the game. You're not going to keep up to that peak rank that you once were. Like, and like, I have peaked out many times in top 10s and top 5s and rank 2 in other games, like in Overwatch, or especially in Rivals. I've peaked out top 100 multiple times. But like, I don't play the game enough to consistently do that. That's why it's called a peak as opposed to constant top 100, right? There's a difference between pro players and people who just hit top 500 consistently, or just peak out top 500, right? And so that's why the games feel so bad, is because you have all these people that have come back to play, and they're coming back at their peaks, and you're expecting like everyone's going to be warmed up, ready to go, but they're not. And so it creates this endless cycle where games feel like they're coin flips, and then that causes people to smurf, because they're like, oh, game's really bad today, let me go smurf. And so they go smurf, and then they play with friends, and then they stack, and it only gets worse, right? It just keeps getting worse, I feel like I'm so glad smurfing is a reportable offense now. Okay, you know what? You want to blow that up for you? I'm sorry. I'm gonna shit on that dream. I don't think they're gonna just ban smurf accounts. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think you're crazy. You know what it'll actually do? It'll ban true smurfing. So there's a difference between an alt account and a smurf account. People don't care and they use them interchangeably, but there is differences. The difference between is an alt account is just another account you play on. You keep playing on it normally, you try on it, you climb, whether you play other heroes to learn those heroes or whatnot, but you're constantly trying your best and you're climbing your way up. An actual smurf account, a smurf account is an account that you purposely keep low to shit on low rank players. And so the way that would work was, let's say you had a bronze smurf and you're normally like a plat player, you climb it up to gold, and then you intentionally throw games or lose games all the way back to bronze to shit on the bronze players again, right? That is smurfing. So the system will probably be like, is this, like, if we looked at how they play, right? Like, the system can look and be like, on average, they get about this amount of limbs and this amount of damage or whatever. And then one day happens where they just start falling off a cliff, right? If those people are doing that to actually ruin games, that's smurfing. And that's what will probably get banned. But people just playing on another account, no, that won't get banned. And you want me to tell you why it won't get banned? Because companies love you to have a smurf account and alt account. They love it. Why wouldn't they love it? It shows another account that they can put into their quarterly report as people played. It counts as another number. And if you buy the battle pass on that account, or you buy skins on that account, that's an account you potentially bought the same skin twice on. There's more money in their pocket. Why would they not want you to have another account? They don't want you smurfing and ruining the game for other players. But if you have an alt account that you actually try on, and they can look at it and go, yeah, this person's not like intentionally deranking or intentionally doing that kind of stuff, right? That'll be fine. But an alt isn't hurting anyone, but it depends on who you're talking to, because if they use those interchangeably, yes, they do, because some people will always argue, well, why do you make another account? You're only making another account because you just want to shit on low rank players. You're using that as an excuse. People will argue that. If you tell me not wrong, I could show you a million TikToks and Twitter posts and Reddit posts that will tell you the opposite, and they'll say, no, that's smurfing, right? So like, unfortunately, those two terms get used as the same term, even though they're actually different. That being said, though, I do think this is a pivotal season for Rivals. And I also think you would be foolish to not at least consider the fact that they've changed their schedule past season 3 to release heroes every month as an indicator of potential being afraid, because they've already lost more than half of their player base since launch, at least on Steam. I'm gonna check it right now. I don't even know what it looks like. Season 1 was, I think this peak though of 642,000 was day 1 season 1 launch. So in just 3 months, their peak is already half of their or actually less than half of their all-time. What that signals to me is that there's a potential possibility that they want to burn as bright as they can, as hot as they can, to pump excitement, to pump skins, to pump whatever, and
Love the streams.
try to, one, retain the player base that they currently have that's like loving the game and playing the game, and also two, kind of bank on that idea that if there is a chance that the game starts to slip in the long term, they can maximize profits by having a lot of content out quickly while they still have people's attention. Because we are an attention economy. Like, once you lose people's attention, you're pretty much cooked. I'm not saying that's what's happening, by the way. Not in any way, shape, or form. I said it would be foolish to not consider that as a possibility. Don't forget about that. So I do think this season's a very pivotal season at the moment. It's actually a very pivotal season. Who knows, though? We're only a week into season 2. There could be big changes to the rank system. There could be big changes to all these other things that could happen. And that could change the trajectory of where we are. But I do think it would be... I think we have to acknowledge on where we're at right at the moment.
One down.